Hi everyone, welcome to the third episode of the Tackle Cave. Today we'll be talking about the different types of spinning reels on the market today and how they work in principle. We're not going to open any of these reels today because if not that will be a really long video, especially like some of them here are really complex. It's like solving a puzzle, just putting it back together. We're just going to go through the different features and the different styles of spinning reels that are available on the market today. We're not going to talk about sizes, budgets, applications, gear ratios or anything else like that. I'll just name the reels very quickly so that you know what I'm actually talking about during the video. So actually this is a reel that I think nobody watching this video has not seen before. It's the more budget oriented type of option, which is the spinning reel that has a single or double handle, but it's actually attached by a screw-in type of attachment over here. It might be a reel stand like I'm using here. You unscrew that and you get either square or hexagonal drive shaft that actually drives the main gear inside here rather than a screw-in handle. Just gonna put that back. When this handle actually drives the rotor of the spinning reel, both sides of this handle actually rotate, if you can see. So this is pretty much what you're gonna find on most budget reels or older type of reels. This reel is actually a Shimano Ultegra Advance C2000S. I'm not going to show a lot of it because I think all of you watching this video would have encountered one of these styles of reels before. The next thing we're going to talk about is the single versus the double handle. So a single handle, which is kind of common on most spinning reels these days. Just simple. Thing is, if you use a single handle spinning reel, sometimes if your rotor is not balanced, your reel will tend to shake when you spin the handle. I don't really know if you guys can see that. I'll just try to spin it really hard. Can you see the body of the reel actually going left and right slowly like that? Just take a closer look. Okay, so on a single handle, you actually have one rotational mass going in one direction. Like that. So it's actually, if your rotor is not balanced, some rotors are not balanced even though they're really high-end reels. This is actually a Shimano Cardiff Area, which is actually a really expensive reel. The rotor's not balanced, so it does shake a lot. The single handles, I think everybody's used them before, so I'm not going to talk a lot about it. The next thing is the double handle. So, they're not very common, double handles in spinning reels. They're actually a lot heavier than a single handle like this. But why does double handles exist? Double handles exist because, firstly, there's actually two knobs that will spin here, actually equalizing each other when they rotate. So if I'm going to spin this reel really fast, watch the body. It's not going to go left and right very fast or even at all. So it actually counterbalance itself. It's actually, you can't feel anything coming. It just feels firm. It doesn't go left and right unless I make it like that. Watch again, please. It's actually really stable compared to a single handle reel. So what are the purpose of a double handle reel? There's only two real identifying markets that I can really find it for. One is the European market and one's the Japanese market. The Japanese market actually uses it for eggy or squid fishing, and sometimes they use it for, let's say, deep udging, which is offshore fishing for tiny pelagics with metal jigs. So the advantage here is that the reel doesn't rotate. So when you play your small little jig or your soft plastic, when you're going like that for the squid, it doesn't actually off balance your rod by going left and right like that. It's actually going up and down straight. So when you whip it, it doesn't feel like the rod is rotating, and you can feel all the bites, and it's quite sensitive like that rather than having extra vibration put in like that. So if you get what I mean, yeah. For the higher end reels, they actually screw in to the reel gear by a screw thread. So I actually don't really use Daiwa reels, if you notice. I use all Shimano. I like Daiwa bait casters, but I don't like their spinning reels. So if you notice, this one actually has a thread rather than a full shaft like the one we saw before on the Ultegra. This is actually, I think, 07 Sephia 2500 SHD. Oh yeah, one more thing. If you notice the threading on this, it only has a single direction thread. So most Shimano reels before the introduction of the 2010 Stella, they actually have directional treads. So there's a left and there's a right tread. You can't switch from left to right like you would on the other reels that you might have encountered. You have to actually change the entire shaft, then you can do that. So it's unidirectional, only left or only right. The last thing about this type of reels, like for older Shimanos or maybe current Daiwas, they actually have anti-reverse on-off switches. If you can see, it goes on, goes off. For the modern Shimanos, the more modern ones like this Vanquish that I just did a video of quite recently, they actually don't have anti-reverse. So what's anti-reverse? If it's engaged, the anti-reverse, you can only reel in one direction. I can't go back at all. I'll unscrew the handle doing that, see? Anti-reverse actually allows you to go forward and backwards on the reel. So, what's the reason for this? Before there was very advanced drag systems and stuff like that, even bait casters, they didn't have drag. So, what you would do when you were fighting a fish, you would reel it in, let's say for a lure, fish would bite, and you set the hook, but there's no way to actually let line out. So you have to actually back reel to let line out and in. So you have to play a fish with your skill, letting the line in and out, depending on your line poundage. So I said, most of these new reels, they don't come with anti-reverse. I think Daiwa still does, but it can only go in one direction. As we saw just now, these three reels, previously the Sephia, the Cardiff and the Ultegra, they actually have folding handles. Most new handles these days from Shimano and Daiwa, they actually use like one-piece non-folding handle. It's actually much stronger. It can be made a lot lighter because there aren't any joints or metal bits in it. But if you look closely, can you see the tread? There's actually two types of tread here. There's one on the top and one on the bottom. So this actually allows this handle to be used in the left and the right direction, rather than the one we saw just now from the Sephia, which can only go on the left side. So I can actually tread this on the left like that, very easily, and on the right if I wanted to. The next thing I think is quite interesting is actually the lever brake series. Don't think a lot of people have experience with this. It's normally used for Japanese sea bass fishing or for ISO type of fishing, which is like, beachside, trying to catch mullet using floats, and I'm not very sure about this technique, so I'm not really going to talk a lot about it. I have two types of lever brake reels here. The very first thing you'll notice that makes them very unique, they have a brake here. A lot of people call them emergency brakes, and I don't know, there's a lot of names for it. The thing I find about these reels, right, they're not really good for casting because this trigger actually gets in the way of a lot of things when you're trying to cast. You get blocked here, you can't really cast properly because this thing gets in the way. It's quite annoying sometimes if you only have this type of reels. Another interesting feature of these reels, if you look at normal reels, right, you need to actually, to get the spool off, you have to unscrew when you get to the spool, right? For the BBX, it's a bit different. They actually use a push button system. If you can see, there's a push button over here. And most of them, they actually fit on each other. So this is actually, I think, maybe a 2008 or 2009 Exsence LB. And this is a Technium, the latest Technium. So I can actually take the spool from the Technium just with a push of the button. Just show you like that. Push the button down, pull it out. Like it wasn't there at all. You see, I can't take it out like that. It's kind of tight. But when I push that button, it comes out like that. Change over to this spool, just like that. Push it in, and it's fixed. Push the button again, comes out. This. Right. What makes this thing so unique and special rather than this? Why aren't people using this more? As I said before, I think in casting it gets in the way a lot. But what happens when you use this reel? This is on the engaged position, which is when I push the lever forward, I can push it backwards. Let me just show you. I can push it forwards, I can push it backwards, and I can modulate it like that. So there are three functions of this thing: forward, backward, and I can push. So when I push it forward, what does that do? Reel works like any other reel that we've seen previously. Goes forward, has an anti-reverse, doesn't go backward. Can you hear that? That's actually the anti-reverse. It's a very different system than what exists on the other reels. Okay, so that's with the lever forward. With the lever backward, I'm going to push it back, hear the sound, click. Now I can rotate in both directions. Okay, what is this for? My line's a bit tangled in there. What's this for? Actually, it allows you to be reeling. It allows you to be reeling like that, like a normal reel. Then if you want to play the fish or let line out, you can click it backwards very quickly and you can release line. Watch this, I'm going to spin it backwards. Then if I want to stop it, I can just go. So there's no problem with me spinning it forward when I have my hand on the lever, pressing down, but I can't push it back. The only way I can push it back is if I release my hand. Then it works. You see? Nothing here, nothing wrong. Normal reel. When I go backwards, when I hold it down, it stops. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the Baitrunner system. Baitrunners, like these two, which is a Baitrunner DL, FB, and this is a CI4 Thunnus. They're pretty good reels. I've used them for quite a long time, in different sizes especially for the Thunnus. Used for a lot of things. These reels actually have dual drag compared to all these other reels that we talked about before. It has a front drag and it has a rear drag. These reels are actually, as their name suggests, they're good for baiting. So what you can do with this reel, you know, a lot of people have to hold their rods and wait for the fish to bite. If not, the rod will fly into the water. Or sometimes, you know, they open the bail like that, the fish bites, the line will run. So what a Baitrunner does is actually allows you to do that with the bail closed, and it allows you to have an instant strike the moment the fish stops, or you want to set the hook, or when you're using circle hooks, it's actually a pretty good option as well. So the normal drag, works like a normal drag on any other spinning reel. The rear drag actually is for the free spool. So if you see, there's actually a lever over here. I can turn it on, I can turn it off. Another interesting thing about this lever is I don't have to use my hand to open and close it. If I open it, I cast my bait out and I let it sit. If something pulls my line, it'll go like that, it'll run by itself. So if I want to set the hook, I can just turn the handle, look at that lever, and it'll click itself. See that again? Click itself. So at that point of time, you can either set the hook, or if you're using a circle hook, it'll be set for you. So let me show you an example of the dual drags actually. So this is a normal spinning reel drag, top type of drag. I'm going to set it to the max, it's not very high. I can't really turn it a lot because it's quite tight. So if we look, if we try and pull, it's actually not very easy to pull. This is with the lever on. So when I click the lever off, I don't really know what's the rear drag, but it's going to be a lot softer. Easy. Tight. It's not really good to demonstrate in a video, but let's see again. Tight. Open it so I can, when the bait's on the bottom, I'm going to set the hook, close it, and it becomes tight. So when you open this lever, the bottom drag is the one that is engaged. When you close it, either with the handle or pushing the button up, the top drag is engaged. I can actually adjust the tension for the free spool or the bottom if I turn on the lever to less or more. This actually depends on how spooky or how big the fish is, because if you're going to catch, you're going to target bigger fish, you don't want to use a very small type of tension, because if you run really fast, you're going to get wind knots and bird's nests in that. So if you're aiming for something bigger, you'll probably use a bit more tension. So although there is more pressure when you pull it out, the bigger fish aren't going to mind that so much. But the small ones, if you put too much tension on, they'll just feel it and just spit out the bait again. So the advantage of a Baitrunner is if you're using bait, you can put your rod there, let your drag sound out for you, like a drag clicker. You just pick up your rod, line's still going out, and you feel it's time to set the hook, you just turn the handle and you set the hook like that. Or if you're using a circle hook, you just turn the handle and it sets it for you. Very easy, very simple. They also have anti-reverse on all of them. They're not like the modern reels. They have a lot of things going on, so this is actually a really heavy reel. So if you're looking for a big Baitrunner, like, you know, bigger than a 4000 size, like a 6000 or 8000, I actually recommend you get a Thunnus because it's a lot lighter and it's a lot better quality. Palladium gears and stuff like that. It's actually really good, really strong, even though it's CI4. So the point of this video today was to show you guys the different types of spinning reels that exist on the market today, especially the lever brake style and the Baitrunner style, which I don't think a lot of viewers have actually seen in person. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something today. If you have any questions or any suggestions, please feel free to comment below. If you learned something today, please don't forget to like and subscribe.